Hi, my name is Julia, and today we will talk about QWERTY keyboard layout. Today, we are with our expert guest, Mr. John Shaw. So, how are you, Mr. John?
I'm fine, and hello to your audience.
So, as I mentioned earlier, why the keys on a QWERTY keyboard laid out as they are? Why the letters on keyboards aren't in alphabetical order?
At first glance, it may seem like the letters on a keyboard are randomly scattered about, but there must be some rhyme or reason to it, right? In fact, questions about keyboard layout is one of the most common questions we get in our community forum. The QWERTY format, so named for the first 6 letters on the top row, is a popular layout, and Typesy focuses solely on this format alone, but it's certainly not the only layout. Even within the English language alone, there are variations, and non-Roman languages require their own keyboards entirely. There are many factors that dictate what a keyboard looks like, the most important being the language and the alphabet being used. Even so, the most commonly used keyboards across the globe use the standard US QWERTY layout. As for how this layout came to be, it came out of necessity. It goes back to the early days of typewriters. On a typewriter, pushing a key would cause a lever to swing, moving the letter bar up to the paper to stamp the ink. Now, to get a job as a typist back then, you had to maintain a pretty high word per minute count, and these tests were harsh. A word per minute score was reduced by 10 for every mistake made within a minute-long test. So if a speedy typist clocked 50 words per minute but made 3 mistakes, her overall score would be dragged down to a mere 20. Oof! The major problem in those days were mechanical issues. When trying for speed, typewriter typists were having problems with the keys getting jammed. There wasn't enough time for each letter's lever to settle before the next key strike. What resulted was a mess of tangled bars. QWERTY was designed to avoid this. The thinking was to separate commonly used letters apart, requiring a hair more time in between strokes as the fingers moved across the keys. It also happened to make typing much more comfortable since fingers didn't spend so much time and cramped up in one spot. You may be able to see why this also answers another of our most popular questions. Why isn't the keyboard laid out in alphabetical order? After all, we are all much more familiar with letters in alphabetical order, so an alphabetical layout would be easier to learn it initially. However, you'd soon find your fingers constantly fighting for space. Once mastered, the QWERTY layout allows for comfortable, efficient typing. What's interesting is the fact that despite no more paper, ink, or letter stamps, we still rely on this typewriter keyboard today. There have been alternatives to the QWERTY layout suggested, but this seems to be the one that's sticking. Touch typing can be taught on any keyboard, QWERTY or otherwise, but it's worth mentioning that since the core of touch typing is developing muscle memory, mastery of one layout will not directly transfer to another, as the keys will be placed differently. For this reason, it's important that you use only one keyboard type when first learning keyboarding skills.